played with, is it played in a set with other tunes? Is that other tune also available on this website? Go and learn it as well. I think this one actually is Mrs. Galvin's and Bottle Brooklet. It's in a set with 2 other tunes, and those 2 tunes are also available on the website, so they can learn the 3 tunes together and play them as a selection and bring them to their session to learn that kind of thing. They love that kind of thing. My dad is a fiddle player, and he's, doing this all his life, and he has all of this information in his head, so that was his job. Dad, you're doing all the stories behind the tunes, delegate out. So that's all of the pricing of it here is, I put it at $25 a month. It's a subscription, or $2.50 for the year, so they get 2 months free. It's amazing the amount of people who don't. This is the most challenging part of this work. The amount of people who just misinterpret the subscription, or they haven't got a grasp of what subscription means, and then they come complaining to me, angry that I've charged them for 3 months when they only signed up for 1, and that kind of thing. So I try to avoid, it's the same setup as Netflix. If you don't watch Netflix, you complain to Netflix that you've been charged again. So I end up just refunding whenever they're angry with me. I just give them back refunds, because it's a small community, and I know I'm going to meet these people. I'm going to be bumping into them at festivals, even though I do have a policy that there's no refunds and that, but I'd be scared of meeting them and them giving out to me, so I just give them back the €25 for whatever it is. Sometimes it's the €250 and it pains me, but anyway, just do it, keep them happy. As I said, concertina world, it's tiny, so I'm going to be meeting them. This year, just during the summer, I added 2 features. One is an album for each course. I haven't done the advanced course one yet, and I recorded an album with 2. These are actually 2 of the subscribers, two of the concertina subscribers, but they're a great piano player and guitar player as well. They're both in America. I've actually never met Tim. I've met Amy. She came to the Wild Atlantic Concertina Week, and I recorded. So what I did was, say, the starter course, I took all the tunes, 35 tunes, and I put them into selections, 12 or 13 selections, and I put an accompaniment with it. So it's more easier to listen to. It's more like, this is for you to listen to when you're walking the dog, when you're cooking dinner, to absorb the tunes, because I encourage all the time to try and learn by ear. It's the best way to learn this music, absorb it, be able to sing the tune in your head before you lift the instrument. And if you can do that, you'll learn it much better, and it'll stay in your head much longer as well. So they're at full speed, this album. It's at full session speed with the accompaniment, and that's €10. So I just added that extra thing this year. So you have to be a subscriber. Only if you're a subscriber to the lessons can you download the album for €10 extra. So, and the other thing then is all the audio tracks, audio archive here. In each lesson I showed you, there's the video and there's the audio track. So they were asking me to put all the audio tracks in one place, so that when they have learned all the tunes, that they come and they can play them one after the other to recap, that they don't have to go into each lesson. So that's there for them. And then there's blogs and other little bits there. And one of the main things is that I say you can contact me anytime with a question. So I don't give them feedback on their playing. That would be too time consuming. And that's, so I get emails every day with questions like, I'm getting stuck, can I play a different D here instead of that D, or I'm getting stuck with my air control on this tune, and so I help them along that way. So I have that connection, that relationship with them, and I'm there to help them along whenever they need it. So that's the Concertina website. What a lovely thing is that they sent me this photo. This is 5 of the subscribers who are in Holland. They're in the Netherlands, and they decided to come together themselves and play the tunes, because they have a common repertoire now that they have learned on the website, because they have, they all have the same tunes because they're all learning off the same course on the website. And I love that. And there was a festival in Texas last week, and 3 of them happened to be there, so they got together and played some of the tunes off the website as well. I was very lucky that I had this all set up before the pandemic. Like 2018 was the first course, 2019 was the second course, and then September 2020 was the third course, because it really did grow a lot in 2020 and 2021 because obviously people couldn't get out to their sessions, couldn't get out to their lessons. So wherever they were, there's people subscribed in 32 countries now learning the concertina. I can't believe it myself. I don't know where they're coming from. But it grew because of the pandemic, because they couldn't get out to their lessons. Or when we were abroad and we'd be hearing those people playing tunes, a lot of the time they were, there's a core number, a few hundred tunes that make up the core tradition, like the real old tunes, the ones that go way back. And sometimes people are missing out on them if they're playing. They might skip ahead to the newly composed ones or the modern tunes. So I decided I'd make a website. So this has 100 tunes on it, and they are the if you go into any session in the world and play some of these, people will know them. So it's just called learnirishtunes.com. This one nearly killed me. It was 100 lessons, which was a lot, obviously. So this is just a brief rundown. Meg O'Gara, Magnificent Creative, did my lovely logo up in the top left corner there. And it's not going, there we go. So very similar setup to the other website. So that's learnirishtunes.com. Anything else? I've been trying to build up my mailing list over the years. Whenever we were doing a gig, I would leave a page and tell them, add your mailing list if you want to keep up with us. So I was gathering them manually over the years, and I obviously have the pop-ups, and there's all of that on the website to gather email addresses, because I try to really nurture those relationships. There's 3,500 on my mailing list now. I have 21,000 on Facebook. That's where my audience is. Like, my audience isn't on TikTok and Snapchat, as I was saying earlier. That's the demographic I'm looking at. So that's where I'm investing in the ads, and the marketing is more on Facebook. But with the mailing list, I email them every week. Every week I don't have anything to sell. Maybe once every 2 months I have something to sell, or I'm telling them about a gig. But I'm keeping them updated with news, or that we're going playing in Belfast this weekend, or what was on in Dublin last week, and letting them know what we're doing, or give them something free, because I know if I nurture those relationships, there's only a percentage of them that actually open the mail, and then there's a small percentage of that will actually buy the thing. But obviously the more you get and you nurture those relationships consistently, then when you do have something to sell, they trust you, and they trust me, and they know that she's been consistent with this level of contact and level of communication. She's that I'm not trying to bullshit them, basically, that I'm giving them, that I look after them and reward their loyalty, and but I'm not always pushing and selling to them. The second last thing is when I moved up here, and I'd been coming up here for years, but I was like, I was saying the Americans would love it here, they'd love it, they're going to come, because we were travelling to all these festivals everywhere else in the world, but I knew that they would come here. It's obviously beautiful, and so much culture and everything to show them. So I started in 2018, that same year, the Wild Atlantic Concertina Week. And I did it in 2018, 2019, and then this year I actually ran 2 of them back to back. The first one sold out in 4 minutes, second one sold out 5 minutes later. So by 9 minutes past 3, it was gone, and I was oversubscribed. I was panicking, delete that PayPal button. I was trying to manage it. So 14 actually got into one of the weeks when I max it at 10, because what I do is I teach them Monday to Friday. We have a concertina class from 10 till 1. So I like to make sure that they're getting personal, that I'm able to give them enough. They're coming a long way, Australia, America, all over Europe. They come here and I put them up in a package in Chalk Campbell. They get bread and breakfast. It's all parts of the package. They get the lessons. And then in the afternoon we go out and we go to Gola, or we go to Glenveigh Castle, or I have Mairead Weenie and Kieran and Cathal come in and play at little concerts for them in Chalk Campbell, or someone comes in and gives them an introduction to Irish lesson. Or we go on a walking tour. We've done a good few of the walking tours around, introduce them to the area and show off the area. So that's been a great success and really sells out so fast. It's the Wild Atlantic Concertina Week, so I'll do one again next year. I won't do two next year. These are my parents here. That's the first year. And just the last thing then is just how the concertina people seem to be drawn to it. This is Libby. She sent me this message. Hi Kathleen, I'm your student Libby. I purchased a concertina as a present for myself for my 90th birthday. I have fallen in love with it. The Cayley concertina is perfect for my elderly needs. I can sit down to play. It is small and lightweight. I don't have to tune it. I can hear it. My sometimes arthritic fingers are able to push the buttons which don't slice my fingernails. I've been playing for a little over a year and I'm in the Improver course, part 1. She's in America somewhere, and how inspiring is that? I got another one yesterday from an 88-year-old, so it's never too late if you just want to pick it up. That's all I have, guys. Thanks very much.
Well, I must add to that, though, Caitlin's Facebook pages are the most engaging pages I've seen.
Yeah.
I'll watch it up there, even like if you look at that post, it's like over 3,000 people would like it, comments. Her page, she forgot to say there, for the subscribers, she has a private Facebook group, so they all join that and they subscribe, so they can side coach each other in here as well. So if I got past one lesson, they're sharing it, and then there's another 40 people coming on and commenting and encouraging more and more and more. It's fantastic, and Caitlin does pop in out there all the time, so she doesn't give enough credit for that. It's unreal.
Thanks, Laura.
Fantastic.
Thanks. And then you put up one of the babies and it's a million views. For my
You
good,
make
thanks.
it look incredibly easy, but of course
Do
we
I?
know that business is not that easy. What do you think is the secret? You know, is it just your absolute passion for what you do?
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying about failing was not being my thing now was not going to be an option, because kind of what else was I going to do? I needed to stay in control of my time. That was very important to me. So the urgency and that pressure on myself, no, I need to put everything into it. And I know I work very hard on these, but then I step away from it and I don't. Also, there's a small community. I'm fortunate in my background and my upbringing that I got a little bit of with the touring and all, and my parents and travelling around, that people would know, like, not who we are, but they would be coming to our gigs. So there's that integrity, I suppose, that trust that they know when they log on. But you have to stand up to that then as well. You have to maintain that and keep them happy, make sure they're happy. That's kind of my, give them the refund, keep them happy. Thanks. Is that everything? Yeah.
I'm just going to read them. I suppose, as a fiddle player myself, I just find it incredible, the work that Kathleen and Kieran have done really to promote the traditional music and even tourism in the area and the Irish language. And I think it's incredible that you've kind of found this niche, that from all over the world, because as you said, usually traditional musicians, they teach children and it's kind of one-on-one. So I think it's just incredible the work you've done. And I saw myself in the Arkland one of the years when you had the group over and there was such a diverse of people from all over the world. It was unreal. So congratulations to you. And it's also evident, I think, as Laura said, that you have a really good grasp of marketing and what you're very focused with that. And I think that's real credit to you, so gorgeous and well done. So just following on from what Elaine, would anyone else like to introduce themselves? Maybe the second line, or Laura maybe?
Yeah, my name is Laura Gallagher.
Yeah.
From the online, and I do online marketing, and I have Caitlin and a few others, and I'm based here in the north.
Lovely.
Thank you for calling.
Hi everyone, my name is Natalia Clemens. I have a business in booking online. That was actually the concept to do it just before COVID happened. And to be honest, COVID did me a favor because it's easier now to work online remotely. I don't work only remotely. I have clients that I have to go to their office too, but that depends. And I'm also actually the treasurer of Donegal Women in Business. Thank you, Kathleen. It was a very inspiring story. You see, when you do with passion what you do, you don't find it hard. So you are the brand, so you sell really, really well. I was very inspired about that story, to be honest. I didn't even know that that can be possible, to be honest. So well done. I'm sure that I'm going to hear other lovely stories. So very nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Ev-
Hi everybody, my name is Evelyn. My company is Evelyn Marketing. I'm a business and life coach and many other things. I was the RO for Donegal Women in Business Network for 6 years, and I now look after their social media, and I'm an ambassador. And if you're not a member, you need to join. So great to be here. And I met Laura Gallagher. If you don't believe in the value of networking, we did an event here 4 years ago. Was it 3 or 4 years ago? The first Hooters event with the network, and I met Laura at that event. We hadn't met before. Now we've delivered work courses for Hooters. We have a lot of clients together, and we've connected on so many levels. So you know, you don't know who in this room you're going to be your business partner going forward. So lovely to meet you all.
Hi everybody, my name is Susan Stevens and I'm a travel counsellor, so I also work from home. So I specialise in chair making, long haul adventure trips, honeymoon cruises and anything like that, anything complicated. Thank you.
Okay, we are Maralabi. He doesn't dare to get up. So we are in the travel business, and we focus mainly at the moment on health tourism, bringing people from Ireland and the UK to medical treatments in Germany. We know how long the wait can be in order to get something done here. And on the other hand, we believe in pampering and having a great time. So we do that as well, and we would love to bring our passion for Ireland to the entire world if possible. So we are arranging trips to Donegal, Ireland, first of all the beautiful Wild Atlantic Way. That's what we do. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just take three.
I'm Katie Coyle. I'm
Yeah.
actually just starting up,
Great.
business startup.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to open over the winter. It's something completely different. I'm just starting up caring cattle. I have a son with Down syndrome. I have seen how we've horses at home all his life and how the horses have helped him physically and emotionally. So I have just come back. I've been studying for the last year therapeutic riding for children with additional needs, and also for emotional needs as well. Because even my daughter, she has dyslexia, but she would suffer from anxiety, and as soon as she's around the horses, it helps. And I know even myself how they've helped me all my life. So yeah, I'm hoping to start off over this winter
Okay.
in full care.
Great. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Shan from Winefish Bakehouse based in Dunfanaghy, and I make Irish bread mixes, which you can make at home yourself.
Okay, good morning. We'll do one more. That's it. Yeah.
I'm Joanne Butler from Organic Gardens, which is over in Cork, and we are an educational garden focused on food and garden design. And since lockdown, I've been working from home, but I also work outreach, so I'm very inspired by today's talk because I am one of the ones who sits in front of the camera doing participants. But since lockdown, I've had over 750 people learning gardening from all over Ireland, Germany, France, and the UK. So I need to get a few more.
Okay. Inta mai. Okay, so darna cancha tugan inuna Sonia Nicolaspig as ligid Lericon Talonian Shaw Gaeltart. So I'd like to welcome Sonia Nicolaspig. She's the owner and managing director of Ligid Lericon that is based here in the GTEC. So I know she's going to speak about her time here in GTEC and the connection she's made. And Ligid Lericon is an award-winning independent production company based in Ireland. So Dubber Sonia Arimshir Lahan Claire Fashionisha in Gaelica in a mask, the hunger strikes, the story of Baj Eddie, Children of Palestine, agus Shrat their Tedel Vimeon. And Ligad recently produced a documentary about the late Martin McGuinness, which was nominated for Programme of the Year at the Gradam Commissariat an Oireachtas, and it was also selected for Capital Irish Film Festival in Washington. So tá dúisina agus ahantas fi leifáite ag Sonia fanne Claire anu in Trivana Gaelica. So Sonia has received special recognition from Forest na Gaelica and various businesses for her programmes that she does through the medium of Irish. So Sonia, file it around.
Play. All right. Gurmi, Mila Maigov, hello and welcome, and thank you very much for inviting me here today. I suppose Ligad Léirehan started way back in 1996 when TG Care were first came on the air, and I was very lucky that TG Care, after a few years of working in Meath, in the Gaeltacht in Meath in a production company, TG Care came to me and said, would you like to come home to Donegal? We need to start up an industry there. And, sorry, get it. And I decided to move home. And when I moved home, I had 4 years of working here with 3 other companies, and the industry was growing and developing. We had the likes of C.U. Burns, which was a comedy that has gained worldwide recognition. And then then there was a slump in the industry, and I got offered a job in Dublin, as happens. And off I went to Dublin for a few years to work for RTE. I then got offered a job in the BBC in Belfast, so I moved from Dublin to Belfast, and I went there to find my husband, obviously. And he worked there for 32 years. So we moved then to Derry, and to near the Gaeltacht area in Derry, which is a place called Carntoher, which has a centre there, facilities, internet, and not unlike the facilities here. And we were delighted. We got an office in Carntoher. We lived a couple of miles away. My son, who was about a year and a half when we moved there, he went to the Ní School there and to the Gael School, which was very important to us, that he was reared with the Irish language. But I suppose we were coming home nearly every weekend. And my mother and father were getting older. My mother had a blip in her illness. She took ill, and you were up and down the road, and sometimes you couldn't get down the road, and you'd be saying to yourself, I want to be at home and I want to be closer to them. And I suppose for me that was the draw home. That, and my son was getting a little bit older. He was 8 years of age, and I came home from Manchester when I was 8 years of age. So I knew that it was a good time to transition for him, and that when he went into the school, that he would be fine, and he had his cousins and his family around him. So in 2019, we started kind of talking about it and saying, we had a beautiful home in Derry. We had fabulous neighbours, we had great friends, we had a lovely life. But I think the draw home was just too strong. And we said to ourselves, well, would we give it a year? We'll come home for a year and see how it goes. So that Christmas, there was an open day here in GTEC. And to be very honest, that was probably what set the ball in motion for us, because we came in, Michal was here and Cathal O'Gallagher, and they walked us around GTEC, and they told us all of the facilities that they had. They explained the concept of it. And we were saying, God, this is great, this is fantastic. They showed us the room downstairs that we're in since. And we just said, this is great. This is now an opportunity to move home when something like this is starting out. And we said, we'll stay a year, 6 months to a year, see how Rory settles, see how we settle. And that was, as I said, 2019. After Christmas, we started setting the ball in motion to come home. So we came home, and prior to that, I was working from home in Derry as well, between the office in Carntoher and the house. And we would make maybe a series, a 4-part or a 6-part series a year with the company, because my husband was working full-time with the BBC, and there was only myself in the company. But when we came home, we just realised that there was a lot more work available to us. We luckily got a year's contract from TG Cahir just going into lockdown for their online media platform in Ulster. And that entailed making 6 short films between 3 and 5 minutes a month, which is basically a half-hour programme a month, which was challenging. But last Friday, we just completed our 2nd contract. And in 3 weeks' time, we start a 3-year contract for the whole of Ulster for TG Cahir with the Malscale online platform. So we're delighted about that, because it's one of the other reasons why we came home, because I suppose, you know, there's lots of programmes made in this area. There's lots of programmes made about this area. But I felt that way back in 1996, when TG Cahir gave me the opportunity to come home and develop and learn the skills that I needed, that it was kind of on us that work in the industry in the area to come home and to develop the industry, and because I suppose after we finish, there isn't a new generation there to follow on, particularly here. There is in Galway, there is in Dublin, there is in Belfast, but not in Donegal. So it was one of the reasons why we came home. Shortly after, I suppose, we came home, we found out that there was this amazing editor who had come home, who's down the back of the room there, feeling very embarrassed, who had moved home as well during lockdown with his partner. And we approached him and said, you know, what are you doing? He was freelance at the time, and we worked freelance for a wee while, and then we said, you know, listen, why don't you come on board? So Joseph is with us now over a year. And then we put a call out last year where we said, is there anybody in the industry that's interested in TV, or would like a career, or would like to talk about it or discuss it in any way? And this young man from Dunlewy, who was working part-time as a barman in the Courage, came forward and he said, I did a digital media degree, but have had no opportunity round home to do anything with it. So Martin's with us now, going on nearly 5 months. He's down in Galway at the moment doing a course. TG Cahir and Udras are running a course 2 days a week for him that trains him in production and television skills. So I suppose our aim is to develop the industry at home. During lockdown, like everybody, we had our hands tied and you weren't allowed, and we have our office in Derry, but we weren't allowed to travel, of course. And then all the documentaries that we were working on, the Martin McGuinness documentary at the time, and we were travelling an awful lot over to London to do interviews with the likes of Tony Blair, Jonathan Powell, those that were involved in the Good Friday Agreement. And one of the characters that we had that we really wanted was David Trimble, because he didn't really do interviews. So it took us 2 years because of lockdown, but we eventually got him at the end of lockdown and had to go through all the processes of being careful when we were doing our interviews. But one of the things that GTEC gave us was we had arranged an interview with Bill Clinton, and we were to travel to Washington to do the interview. And of course lockdown came, nobody was allowed to travel, and it was such a big interview for our documentary. We had Senator George Mitchell, and we'd got all the characters that were involved, but he was kind of central to the documentary. We had cut the documentary without him, but then his press office came back and said, do you want to try and do the interview over Zoom? And we said, and they said, is there anywhere that you can go in Donegal that has really good internet? So we said, we're in GTech, we're okay. So we went to the office and set it up, and they called us. Bill Clinton came up on the screens on the computers downstairs, and they recorded it on their end so that they could, the quality, that would be the best quality that there was. And we did a great interview with him, longer than he said he would give us 20 minutes, and I think he gave us 40. And at the end of it, my now 11-year-old son, he was 9 at the time, he came over and got to speak to Bill Clinton, and we explained the significance of that. And a bit like Kathleen, we put pulvery into everything. The poor child has photographs with George Mitchell, Peter Taylor, David Trimble, all these characters, and it'll be later on in life that he might realise, the significance of them. But so I suppose we had to overcome the challenges that were upon us during lockdown, and then the GTech was locked down, and we were in the middle of the edit. So my editor was on the other side of Donegal, Joseph. We hadn't found Joseph at that stage, and so we just had to communicate over Zoom and just by sending files to each other and that. And it was challenging, but we managed to eventually get the documentary out the door, and we were delighted with the reception that it got when it was broadcast. But one of the other things, I suppose, during lockdown that we got, and that we'll probably go back to again, but we just haven't had. During lockdown, we have the luxury of living right on the beach, where the boat is down in... I'll actually play this in the background, and you can see some of it. Down the Broomshaw. Oh, just play every. Okay, agus cóla. Oh. What's it? Oh, I'll turn down the volume a wee bit. Have I paused that now? No. So we decided that there was an awful lot of people away from home that couldn't get home. And so every evening we would go down. Jiglate hunta just machine. No. So this is what we're looking at from our house. And during lockdown, a lot of the time we felt that people were away from home, and that they were, lonely and missing Donegal. So most evenings where there was a beautiful sunset, myself and my husband went down and we put a live camera on the beach, and it would sometimes last for an hour and a half, 2 hours, but it was amazing. Like over the period of lockdown, we got 1.5 million views on these live sunsets. Now we were in a unique position that we were living by the beach. It was on our doorstep, and we had the equipment that we could do that from our own house. And a bit like that, it was a lot of work, because you'd be running around every evening, and then if you heard somebody down beside the camera and they were talking, you'd be worried about listening in on their conversation. So that this is a little bit of the Martin McGuinness documentary. And so I suppose working remotely for us was really beneficial. It was fantastic to be able to work like that from home. And I suppose one of the other reasons why we came home was, that's the interview that was done downstairs. One of the reasons why we came home was to promote the area as well, like Kathleen and Kieran do. And I feel that we do that through the online platform that we have with Malscale. TG Care has a large following. They put it up on their own live websites as well. And we have been working a lot with community groups, doing projects for short videos for them, promoting the area, promoting the language. We do videos like this just for the crack and put them out so that it kind of promotes the area. But I suppose one of the biggest things for us is the amount of work that we now have compared to before. My husband, as I said earlier, was 32 years with the BBC, and since coming home he has left the BBC and is working full-time with us and freelance on lots of other projects like Glór Chira, and he's up on the Late Late Show, and he does freelance camera work. But since coming home, at the moment we have a 3-year contract with TG Care for Mallscale. We have a 6-part children's programme, cookery programme, that we've just completed the filming of. We have an hour-long documentary which is about 7 women who left Gola Island and went to New York. The first one went in 1964, and then the rest followed. 4 of them are sisters, and they live over in New York still. They work over in New York, and you would swear they never left home, or they went over last week. You know, they all meet, speak Irish. One of the wee women, she has a prosthetic leg, and we walked the St. Patrick's Day parade with her last year, and she has never missed a St. Patrick's Day parade in New York. And these are phenomenal people with phenomenal stories. So we're going back over to New York, hopefully in the new year, to finish off some filming with that. We have a 40-minute documentary on Keela, the band, the traditional music band Keela. And we have a 4-part series on Gweedore itself, where we're following different characters and following the progress, we hope, of Seaview and the Ostan and the developments there as well. So before now we had 1 series a year, but since coming home, the company has grown, and we hope in the future next year to bring on somebody else, and then to hand the baton down to these young ones that are working with us. Since coming home, we've come together. I had a meeting with Udaras, and I brought together everybody who works in the industry in Donegal or in Gweedore and the surrounding areas, and we're hoping to form some kind of group that can, you know, develop and progress the industry here. Since that happened, TG Care have announced that they're going to do a drama here, which will bring work to the area for 6 to 8 months, which is a great start. But there is more to do to allow people, because a lot of the people I was talking to, one of the girls, she's a producer in the local shop last night, and she was saying, I'm just so tired travelling. I'm just, you know, and what we need to do is to develop the industry here, so that they don't have to travel to Galway, to Dublin, like I had to, you know. So that's one of our main aims in coming home. And because now you can work remotely and you can send your work and you can send scripts and work on scripts remotely, it's made it easier to work here and to develop a business here. And hopefully we've got news last week that there's another sound man coming home, and you know, so people are starting to come home when they realise that you can work remotely. And I suppose that's our main aim, is to promote the area, to develop the industry, to show people how stunningly beautiful that's the top of Errigal, like one morning, and that's our story.
Well done.
Thank you. No, that was easy. I'll let.
So I suppose again, it's like Kathleen, it feeds into the Irish language, to tourism, to Donegal, the brand, to what women do, to family life, to work-life balance, and again, a really inspirational story. And it's great to see your business grow so much, especially over lockdown. Both of you, I suppose that's the time when most people find it very hard to grow and develop a business. And I didn't know that the Bill Clinton interview was done downstairs, so we might have to market that a little bit more. So just a couple of the Nigerians, so just the last few ladies, if you wouldn't mind, just Katrina, just a few short words just so that everyone knows.
So I'm Katrina Sinnott, and I'm facilitator with Donegal Women in Business Network, and if any of you are interested in joining or are already members and want to find out a bit more, just give me a shout after. Okay, thank you.
Helena McLaughlin, from Gunahork, working in Donegal. My background is different. I'm in community work, working for Robin Ross in Donegal, although I do come from a business background. So I was involved in the Women's Business Network years and years ago, so it's great to see him still going.
Okay.
All right, good night.
Hi, my name is Sarah Cannon, and me and my colleague Sheila Green here, we based downstairs, we work for Charlie Bianc in Customer Service Excellence Ireland. So we do tailor-made training packages for customer experience and leadership and management training in the education, financial, medical, retail sectors.
Hi, my name is Niamh Walsh. I'm from Carrigart. So I set up TDL Horizons last year, and we do hotel valuation, sales and advisory. Prior to that, I was the first remote worker for a large global company called Cushman & Wakefield. So I relocated home in 2016. So long before the pandemic, I was a remote worker, so I know it works exceptionally well. So that's me.
Okay. Yep.
Hi, I'm Adele Orrs. I'm the Centre Manager of the Queeveen Community and Enterprise Centre in Termon, and we offer remote working facilities in Termon and in Carrigart.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm from America. Love brought me to Gudor. Beautiful place to be. I'm from the desert, so. I just started a Reiki business here in Gudor within the last couple of weeks, so I'm coming to network, and I am just trying to spread some holistic health.
Okay. Come on.
Hi, I'm Deirdre Gallagher. I'm a employment advisor with the WISE project. It's currently suspended. It's will hopefully be starting up again in January, but I'm using this time to become certified with the Digital Marketing Institute to further help the third phase of the project.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sarah McGee. Background's in nursing, and I set up an online recruitment company, and this is my first event with you today.
Okay. Okay, Gurmeet, thanks. I know it's not easy to stand up, nobody was probably expecting, but I just think it makes it easier that, you know, that everybody knows sort of whatever we do. So our final speaker is Katrina Jones, a female empowerment coach. I couldn't get a direct translation for that, but Sinead is going to, she has something lined up for me, so I'll have it for the next time. So is that staid that Katrina Guhish agus ta clachtas arachta like sin. So Hossi Katrina Sealibra mar Mooncher Bunskala agus hashtag of Furla and her down. So a native of Derry, Katrina has a passion for education and female empowerment. She started her career as a primary school teacher in London, and she relies on her experience as a seasoned life coach, intuitive healer and teacher to share a comprehensive roadmap and toolkit to help women step into their power and claim their place in the world. So Talyor Fain Ferber Skrifa Katrina dar Chedel Bloom Girl. So she has a self-development book entitled Bloom Girl, and it both encourages mindfulness and connections with nature. So it's dinne passion to funnu I Katrina agus ta foil trot and shohanyu.
If you just press escape, the second one is there.
Okay, I'm going to need my glass.
No worries.
Is there a timer on there? Or?
I can leave it like this, and then the time is there.
Perfect. And where is the escape button? Just so when I go, oh, I see. I just go to that one.
Gone up there, so I'll
Okay,
leave the mouse
great.
there for you.
This is not my favorite thing.
Okay.
And breathe. Well, good morning, everyone. It is so lovely to be here, and thank you for the beautiful introduction. So that is about me. That's a bit about me, because I want to be able to share and support you in some way or form this morning. I want to have a perimenopausal brag with the women in the room this morning, all right? We kind of lost our way a wee bit coming down the road, and the wind was like gusting. So I leapt out of the car and I went into this warehouse, and I was going in. I thought, where am I going? And I found this wee man, and I said to him, I'm lost. And he went, nah, you're not. And I thought, oh, good morning, Donegal. I love Donegal. I know I'm from Derry, but from Derry, we always went to Buncrana. We always came down to Donegal, and I grew up in the Troubles, so I love Donegal, and I live in Bridgend now, so I feel I can make a joke about Donegal. I think there's that cross-border cousin relationship that we have. So I've been very inspired by the speakers this morning. Thank you for sharing your stories. So, okay, I'm going to take it a wee bit different, but it is really connected to what you talked about as well, because I love your purpose and your passion that came through in your story. So that brings us together, I think. So the connection theme was where I kind of wanted to go with this morning. And I wanted to be able to offer all of you here, and particularly the women in business, some tools and practical tools to take away from today to support you and empower you to take your business or whatever it is you're doing in your life to the next level. And I transitioned to working online during COVID. And I always say this is my third baby that I wrote during COVID, conceived without a man. Okay. All right. And so I now work online. And I think what I'd love to share with you this morning, everyone, is this theme of connection. Okay. And one of the things I always teach in my work is no one came into this world alone. Okay? So we all came into this, we were birthed through another human being. So connection is really important to who we are. Okay? And if we think about that and think about the connection, it means that we don't have to do life on our own, and that we actually function so much better when we are connected to others. But the most important connection, and where I always encourage my clients and in my workshops and in my own personal journey, is the connection, first of all, with ourselves. Is having that connection within. And I teach in my work a thing that I call morning rituals, because it's of real value. How do we navigate that journey? How do we connect with that in? And without sounding too woo-woo, what does that even mean? Because we're all different. And I know that from my husband and 2 teenagers at the moment. We all have different models of the world. We all have different things that grab our attention, that we think we might do. So I want to give you something tangible that may help you connect more with you, so that you connect even better with other people. Because here's the thing that I teach. Everything is energy. And everything has a frequency and a vibration. So when you walk into the room and someone else comes into the room, we're taking an energy with us. And if we want to expand, which is what all humans want, we want expansion, whether that be through reading a good book, having coffee with a friend, connecting with nature. We all need connection to expand our energy and to live a fulfilled life. Now, I get really excited about my work these days because I talk about female empowerment. I love raising women up, and I teach money mindset, and that really excites me. But at the very beginning of my journey, what I wanted and what I craved when I was a primary school teacher in my 20s in London was inner peace. I could not get that peace. I suffered from anxiety, I had a digestive challenge, I was overwhelmed, I used to just run on empty, and life wasn't easy for me. So my first initial goal in my life was to find inner peace. I used to look at people and say, how is she so calm? Why isn't she all wound up like me? And how is she so happy looking? Or how does he do it that way? So I always compared myself to others. And when I went on this journey and I thought, I'm going to find this inner peace for me, it changed my whole life. And it's a bit like Evelyn, was asking Caitlin that question, you make it look so easy, what is. I really believe that this is the peace that joins those dots of passion and purpose and brings us the prosperity. So my compelling offering to you is to take a look at how you begin your day. I say if you own your morning, you own your day. And I have some beautiful tools, freebies, to help you and support you to really check in with yourself in the morning so that you can experience that inner peace and cultivate that balance within so that all these pieces just effortlessly flow. And we get to show up in the essence and the authentic truth of who we really are, because everything is within. I love all the sharing of the Irish culture, because I always teach my work isn't religious, but it is spiritual. And, you know, here in Ireland, we are steeped in shamanism. You know, we have our own ancient traditions, ways of connecting that will bring out and connect us deeper with the truth of who we are, that peace that we came in to share with others and to serve. Okay? So how do we do that? Does anybody here have a morning ritual or a daily practice or something that they do other than coffee or cigarettes first thing in the morning? I just saw that download coming in. I was like, whoa. Anybody have something they do to help? Great. Okay.
I'll do it. I do Reiki every morning.
Okay.
To myself.
Lovely. Yeah.
A quick dip in the sea.
Beautiful. And this cold water swimming, all of that, all great stuff. Okay. So there is a real thing about the morning that is really special and connects us deeper to the truth of who we are. And in my book, Bloom Girl, I talk about there's 4 components to who we are, all right? And you get to choose which piece you want to work on. But what we know, to really expand and to really rock that genius out that's in there in each and every one of us, we have to be taking care of these 4 components. You know, physically, we must be taking care of the body. Emotionally, learning and connecting with our emotions so that we know how to regulate how we're feeling. All right, and then this mentally, I mean, mental health is hugely talked about these days, taking care of the mind. The mind can drive us crazy, and that's what causes anxiety within us, the thoughts, and that's the job of the mind. The job of the mind is to figure things out. And in my book, I talk about how my mind was so greedy. My mind always wanted more and more and more. So learning to practice these rituals like Reiki, like the sea, like embedding those daily disciplines, we get to connect with ourselves deeper. Okay, so we've got the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. And you get to choose. We all get to choose what that means for us. For my husband, it's in a kayak, down a river, or the sea, or the mountains, it's nature. For me, I love to meditate. And that was the piece, that was the gift I gave to myself 20 odd years ago when I was running on empty and I thought, I can't do this anymore. So you get to check in with you and ask yourself, what is getting in the way of my balance? What is getting in the way of my inner peace? Which part of my life isn't flowing? And then take the opportunity to say, well, how could I begin my day? And I'm going to give you some ideas for that as well. All right? When we meditate, or even let's start with press pause, because sometimes when we hear the word meditate, it's like, oh my God, I can't meditate. I could never sit like that. And my husband said that to me years ago, and he meditates every morning for about 30, 40 minutes. So it's like a muscle. We build it and we practice it every day. And all of my clients, I teach them, and this is how I learned to meditate, was to be still for 2 minutes. That was all. That we sit and we be still and we connect with the body, because here are the benefits. The body is always in the present moment time. As soon as you come into your body and connect with your body and connect with your senses, you come out of the mind, and the mind will slow down. All that chatter, all that lip talk, all that repeat talk, all that obsessive thinking that we can get ourselves into, the mind will quieten down as we connect with ourselves. And then the body comes into what we call homeostasis. It balances the digestive system. I healed my digestive problem. My anxiety, I no longer suffer anxiety. We get to connect with our natural state. You know, there's lots of benefits biologically. You know, the bloods, the sugars, the hormones, everything. They reckon it's about 15 minutes to come into homeostasis. It's anti-aging. It is such a beautiful practice when you gift yourself the stillness of connecting with you. Begin with 2 minutes, okay? And then you see, taking that thread of connection and how we do work, whether we're working from home, whether we're connecting with other people, whether we want to show up our best self to do business, be magnetic, be charismatic, really show, and because this is our passion, nobody here is in business. Very rarely are we doing something that we hate. We've chosen these pieces that we love and we want to show up as our best self. And being in that present moment makes you more alert, you're more present, and people can sense that from you. Do you ever meet people and you know they're really hearing and they're really listening to you? Isn't that a beautiful energy? So then when we connect with ourselves, we get to connect with everyone else from that beautiful, heartfelt, wholehearted, authentic place. I have no idea how long I've been talking for, but I was just conscious that I had 15, 20 minutes. Am I doing okay? I'm doing all right. Great. All right. Does that make sense? Yes, I can see a few nods. Okay, so I want to give you share with you something that I have to help. Okay. This is, if you go to katrinajones.com, all right, this is a freebie. This is called my Morning Rituals Bundle. You can download that, and this is to help you own your morning, own your day. Now, I know there's a lot of personal development going on at the minute and lots of coaches because we need it now more than ever. But I want to reassure you that this is a worthwhile piece of self-help and self-care. And I know lots of people are talking about gratitude and it sounds a bit repetitive, but here's the thing. I want you to remember this. A grateful heart cannot be angry. So the next time you see somebody doing a video or a reel on social media about I do my gratitude every morning, you're like, okay, where's the coffee? Just remember that. There is a truth to that. When we pivot to gratitude, it takes us out of the head, from the overwhelm, right into the heart. So what I offer you in this bundle is an opportunity to work your schedule. For me, I have found in my life, I'm more in that feminine energy of nurturing, of creativity, of creating and spontaneity. And I have been on the journey of harnessing the masculine energy so I can bring in some structure. And that's where this came from, particularly working from home. You know, you go down the stairs and you see the washing machine and you start cursing your husband for not lifting his shoes and they start brushing up and before you know. So this is a schedule, which I love. And for those of you who can relate to this feminine energy when we need to bring that in for a bit of structure, where you get to structure your day. And the first thing I put in are things like meditation, morning rituals, set your alarm clock and get up 2 minutes earlier. Then get up 5 minutes earlier and expand that time because there is something so beautiful about that quietness and the geese flying over or the birds or watching a bird in the garden and just starting with that connection. You could light a wee candle, you might have a little flower, create it with sacred space, you do it your way. Okay? So you set your schedule up, put your things in. I put in my school run. I mean, this is why we're in business. Isn't that right? Time, freedom, family, morning rituals, school run. I put in the picking the children up. I get to pick my children up every day. I schedule dinner time and anything else that goes in, family first. And then I decide on the hours I want to work. So get your schedule. Make your schedule your BFF. Because I used to hate going into my diary. I used to think, oh God, when am I going to do this, when to do that? Get that structure in. And once you're structured, then you take control of clients and meetings and phone calls. Someone phones you, you go, yeah, I've got 2 o'clock Friday. How does that sit? Okay? So that was one of the things, and my clients love this. And then throughout that, there are tutorials in a Facebook group that you can go into, and I teach you how to press pause. You'll get an email. If you sign up to it, you'll get an email with the pause. You'll get tutorials on how to do it. I teach the tapping. Has anybody heard of the tapping technique? It's all on there. The journaling, ways to connect within, to ground your energy, and to be. And if you do that 2 minutes in the morning, it will change your life. The other thing that's available on katrinajones.com is all toolkits to help you is this booklet. It's a workbook. It complements Bloomgirl. I've got copies of Bloomgirl available today, which takes you through all the things I'm talking about, plus other things about purpose. What is my purpose? How do I know my purpose? Connecting with your passion, joining those dots. And this complements that. You get a copy of that online as well. Now for this one, you need to go to katrinajones.com/Bloomgirl. And all the exercises are in there, making vision boards, all the loveliness. Taking time for you and your goals. All right? And one of the other things I thought may be useful as well, if you wanted to join me, is I wanted to share with you a 2-minute pause. Would you like that? Would you like a wee bit of guidance in that? Okay, perfect. Okay, so before we do that, I want to share 2 things. I want to share that I've got money mindset. Are there any women in the room that would like to make more money in business? Put your hand up. 1, 2. Okay, on Saturday, the 5th of November, online, I have got a money mindset masterclass. It's 90 minutes, ladies. 90 minutes of your day. And it is a fabulous event. It really is. I mean, I've done the legwork here. I give you all the best bits on how to call in the money, the abundance, and how to do that. So it's Saturday the 5th of November. It'll be on my Facebook page. Instagram is where I mainly hang out, but come and speak to me if you need my number. I've got all the details of that. The other thing I've just created is a membership group. It's not as sexy as yours. Yours is fabulous. Were you impressed by all that? That's all our goal. That's the goal. That's the goal. But it's there as a group. It's a net to bring you into where we have a monthly group coaching. We have a guided meditation once a month and guest speakers as well. So if you'd like to be a guest speaker, if you have some inspiration, now the Bloomgirl group isn't just women in business. There are some women in there that are in corporate or are employed business. So that's the Bloomgirl membership group. So I wanted to let you know about that as well. And like I said, I'm on Facebook, Katrina Jones Coach page. I'm on Instagram, and sometimes I go into LinkedIn. I feel like I have to put my jacket on. Does anybody else feel like that? I need to put my jacket back on to go into LinkedIn. But apparently it's not like that at all, they say. Okay. Actually, I'm just thinking before we do the pause, because the pause would be nice to settle before the lunch or whatever. I don't know if anybody has any questions, or what do you think? Or shall I do the pause and then Q&A? What do you recommend?
I think you'd be better recommended.
Okay, well, I think maybe questions and then grounding, yeah? Mm-hmm. I know I've whistled through that because I was conscious of time, but if anybody has any questions or comments.
Can you stay in your jammies to do them?
the pause? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it is better to be sitting up. Definitely better to be sitting upright. Yeah, you can sit upright in your... You could. Now, I would move, maybe just even go to the loo, and I'm not being funny, I mean that, just move so you wake up a little bit, so your mind has woken up a little bit, and then, yeah, absolutely be comfy. You know, we get cushions and blankets, and I have my crystals and essential oils, it's all going on, where my husband just goes downstairs and pulls out a kitchen chair or sits in a chair in another wee room and, you know, do it your way. Yeah. Thank you. Patricia.
I've tried meditation so many times. I've got the space, I sit down, I do the whole, and then within 2 seconds, I kid you not, within 2 seconds, the to-do list comes up with a thought from the left, a thought from the right, and I can never quiet my mind. I want to, but
yes.
I can't do it.
Yes, and that's great. I'm so happy you said that, because we will never quieten the mind. The job of the mind is to keep on thinking. Like the heart is beating, it's the job of the mind to think. But what we can do is we can observe it. All right? So I'm pressing pause and I think I got to do this. So the clarity is coming. The clarity, because what we're doing when we become quiet, we're activating that thinking, and it's helping us remember. This is why it's so good for us to be alert, to to help our thinking, our reasoning. So we start to think about what we need to do, and that's okay. We just see it, see it as a cloud passing in front of you and just observing. I always look to my body. Measure any change in your energy. Okay, and we're going to have a go at it now. So just when we do, just notice any shift in your energy. It could be you become more aware of your feet. You might think that you've got a sore shoulder when it was there all the time, but simply because we're becoming still, we're increasing our awareness because we're raising our consciousness. And that's law of attraction. That's how we raise our vibration. So that's exactly how it is. And that quietens, and it's different every time. You know, there's a rule in Buddhism where the monks are not allowed to discuss meditation and the experience because it's so different for everybody. And it can contaminate your journey. You know, but we love a good story, don't we? When your Auntie Pauline comes in and, you know. Okay, thank you, Patricia. Does that help?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Yes, Elaine.
May I ask if we could all just get a little group photo that'll get everyone up and moved so they'll get the full benefit of the 2 minutes sit down there. So
Yes.
We could do it everybody up the front.
Yes. So you want to do photograph first, and then we sit down. No sneaking. Okay. I'm a primary school teacher. I have eyes in the back of my head. Yes. So we want a beautiful photograph, and then we're going to do the pause. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else like to ask any questions or any comments or say anything? Ready for?
What's your number one tip for grounding yourself in a stressful
For,
situation?
it is coming into the body. So for me, it really is feeling your, this is back to the shamans, back to Mother Earth. Feel your feet in the ground. Even just do it now as I say that. Feel your feet in the ground. As soon as we connect with the body, we're right here, right now. And Eckhart Tolle is the great expert and master of the power of now. Feel your feet in the ground and just and bring yourself into the body, because that's always the body is always in the present moment. And then you can take that a wee step further if you wanted, and imagine roots coming out of your feet, like like a tree, or just even feel your bottom in the chair, and that would ground you. Yeah, does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeping it simple. I mean, yeah, that's a whole other conversation, because when we moved back and we relocated back to Derry, my husband's Welsh, and we were interviewed about coming home and setting up our businesses, and they said to him, "Can you give me 3 words to describe your wife?" And I was like, "Oh, here we go. Good morning, Donegal." And he said, complicated, complicated, complicated. But this is about keeping it simple. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, yeah.
I suppose just before you do the meditation, just while I'm so buíochas mór with that, and then Johanna can show you. So big thanks to everyone for coming today, and a special thank you to all the speakers. I think everyone got something from those speakers, and as I said, by Sinead and Shaw, Le Thuras her chart. So anyone who wants to do a tour of the G-Tech, Sinead's going to go around now when we finish with this, and there's tea and sandwiches out there as well. So Guramila Mahigov Alig, and I hope we'll see you again in another event. So just before I go again, a special thanks to Katrina, Elaine and Joe and from the Donegal Women Business Network, and a special thanks to Sinead and Dervla from Udras, who were very helpful today and in organising this event. So Guramila Mahigov Alig, and enjoy the meditation. I feel it on camera already.
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
Elaine, do you want to get a photo for?
I just want to say, it was very special. Thank you too.
Oh, no. We can make a picture of you.
No, not off.
Oh, okay, yes, sorry. Swap it back again. No, you're grand.
In the country, you're going to get posher. Just the speakers.
Do we really?
Speakers maybe.
Get back up again.
Can we turn the, can we turn the screen off? Just so
Yeah.
Don't make me find you.
Do you want to watching or leave it off?
Joe, you sit there.
Do you need a get a balance? If you get in there now, you
balance the height.
shifty over. You kind of make the shift all the way to the right. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And no hiding in the back later.
No.
No, you're right. I'll go to the next one. Yeah, I'll go to the next one. Okay. So everybody, big smiles. You're looking at the camera. Brilliant. Now I'll get you to just take our scoot in there. Oh, good girl.
Sinead,
did you in too? Yeah, definitely. Great. Excellent.
Bananas.
Just watch your step.